The Thompsons were an average, loving family living in a quiet suburban neighborhood. Marcus Thompson, a devoted father in his mid-30s, worked as a software engineer. His wife, Aisha, a talented artist, balanced her time between running her small online gallery and taking care of their two children, 13-year-old Olivia and 8-year-old Jaden. The family had recently moved into their new home, and while they loved the space and proximity to good schools, not all the neighbors had welcomed them with open arms. One sunny Saturday afternoon, the Thompsons decided to take a family outing to the local park. Laughter filled the air as they played soccer, picnicked, and enjoyed each other's company. As the day began to wind down, Marcus noticed a man sitting on a nearby bench, glaring at them with disdain. He brushed it off, assuming the man was having a bad day. But as the Thompsons packed up their belongings and walked to their car, they noticed a man following them at a distance. Once they got home, Marcus parked the car in the driveway, and the family began unloading their things. Unbeknownst to them, a man had followed them in his car, keeping a distance as the Thompsons drove back to their house. Suddenly, it is the man from the park appearing on the sidewalk. His face was twisted in anger, and he began shouting at them. "You niggas don't belong here," he yelled, his voice dripping with hostility. "Go back to where you came from. The zoo, Africa, Jamaica, I don't care, just leave." As we continue with this interesting story, please support this channel. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so. Make sure you watch and listen to the end. Thank you. Aisha instinctively pulled Olivia and Jaden closer, shielding them from the man's hateful words. Marcus, though visibly upset, remained calm and asked the man to leave. "Sir, I don't know what your problem is, but you need to leave." "This is our home," Marcus said firmly. The man laughed mockingly. "Your home? People like you don't own homes in neighborhoods like this." The situation escalated as the man continued hurling insults, including racial slurs, at the family. Aisha quickly ushered the children inside and locked the door, while Marcus stayed outside to de-escalate the situation. The man, emboldened by Marcus's calm demeanor, stepped closer to the driveway. "You think you can just move in here and take over? I've lived here for 20 years, and I won't let your kind ruin this neighborhood," the man spat, his voice rising. Marcus, feeling his patience were thin, replied, "We're not ruining anything. We work hard, we're raising our kids, and we deserve to be here just like anyone else. Now, I'm asking you one last time to leave before I call the police." The man sneered. "Oh, I'm not going anywhere. Call the cops, and we'll see who they believe." Unknown to Marcus, Olivia had been filming the entire incident through the living room window. She knew her father was trying to stay calm, but she couldn't ignore the man's hateful behavior. Olivia whispered to her mom, "We need to do something. Dad shouldn't have to deal with this alone." Aisha nodded and called 911, reporting the incident while Olivia uploaded the video to her social media account, captioning it, "This is what my family faces in our own neighborhood." Within minutes, the post began gaining traction, and supportive comments poured in from friends, classmates, and even strangers. The police arrived shortly after, and 2 officers approached the scene. Marcus explained the situation, and the man immediately tried to turn the tables. "They're the problem," he shouted, pointing at Marcus. "They're disturbing the peace, blasting music, and causing trouble in the neighborhood." One of the officers asked Marcus to step aside while they questioned the man. Aisha came outside with the kids, standing by her husband's side. Jaden clung to her leg, tears streaming down his face. "Mom, why does he hate us?" Jaden asked, his voice trembling. Aisha knelt down and hugged him tightly. "Some people have hate in their hearts because they don't understand love, Jaden. But we're not going to let his hate define us." As the police questioned the man, Olivia's video had reached the local news station. A reporter arrived at the scene, microphone in hand, ready to cover the story. The police soon realized the man's accusations were baseless, especially after seeing the video Olivia had taken. They got his information, issued him a warning, and escorted him away from the Thompsons' property. Although, Marcus did not press charges himself because his primary focus was ensuring his family's safety and not prolonging the ordeal for his children. However, the police officers who responded to the incident deemed the man's actions severe enough to warrant legal consequences. They filed charges on behalf of the state, specifically for harassment and public disturbance. The legal system then took over, and during the trial, the man pleaded guilty to the charges. As part of his sentencing, the court ordered him to complete community service and attend diversity training, recognizing that his actions stemmed from deep-seated prejudice. The video continued to gain attention, sparking a larger conversation about racism and the importance of standing up to hate. The Thompsons received overwhelming support from their community, including neighbors who had previously remained silent. Some even organized a block party to show solidarity with the family. A week later, Marcus received a call from the local mayor, who had seen the video. The mayor invited the Thompsons to a city council meeting to share their experience and discuss initiatives to promote inclusivity in the community. Marcus and Aisha agreed, seeing it as an opportunity to turn a negative experience into a positive change. At the meeting, Marcus spoke passionately about the need for empathy and understanding. "We all want the same things: safety, happiness, and a sense of belonging. It's time we start treating each other with the respect we all deserve," he said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. The man who had harassed them was also present, having been ordered by the court to attend as part of his community service. He avoided eye contact with the Thompsons but seemed visibly affected by Marcus's speech. In the weeks that followed, the Thompsons became advocates for diversity and inclusion, working with the city to implement programs that fostered unity. Their story inspired countless others to stand up against hate and fight for a better future. The weeks following the city council meeting were tense. The story of the Thompsons had gone viral, with news outlets picking up Olivia's video. The city was split. Some rallied behind the Thompsons, while others fueled their hate in private forums, targeting the family with anonymous threats. Marcus and Aisha knew they had to stay strong, but the pressure was mounting. One evening, as the family sat down for dinner, they heard the sound of tires screeching outside. Marcus looked at Aisha, his instincts kicking in. He moved toward the window cautiously and saw 3 masked figures emerging from a truck, holding cans of spray paint and something that looked like a gasoline canister. "Stay inside. Call the police," Marcus instructed Aisha as he rushed to the front door. The menacing figures had started spray painting racial slurs on the Thompsons' fence. One of them was pouring liquid around the perimeter of the yard when Marcus stepped outside. "Hey!" Marcus shouted. "Get off my property." The men froze for a moment before one of them yelled, "You don't belong here." They advanced toward Marcus, but this time, Marcus was prepared. Before they could get any closer, Marcus revealed the security cameras he had installed after the previous incident. "Everything you've done is recorded. You're not walking away from this," Marcus said firmly, standing his ground. Suddenly, blue lights illuminated the street as multiple police cars screeched to a halt. Aisha had called the police immediately, and they had arrived in record time. The masked men panicked, dropping their spray cans and gas canister as they tried to flee. However, the officers surrounded them before they could escape. One of the officers ordered, "Hands in the air. Get down on the ground now." The men complied reluctantly, their masks removed to reveal faces familiar to Marcus. They were neighbors, people he had greeted in passing, never imagining their simmering hatred would escalate to such violence. The ringleader, a man named Greg, muttered under his breath, "You think you're so special, but you'll never belong here." Marcus, with steady resolve, replied, "I belong anywhere I choose to live. And your hate won't change that." As the men were hauled away in handcuffs, the police took statements from Marcus and Aisha. The Thompsons stood strong, but Olivia and Jaden watched from the window, shaken. Seeing their children's fear lit a fire in Marcus and Aisha, they refused to let hate dictate their family's future. The next day, the community was abuzz. News of the attempted arson and vandalism spread like wildfire, drawing even more attention to the Thompson story. Protesters gathered outside City Hall, demanding accountability for the hate crimes. Many neighbors who had remained silent began to openly support the Thompsons, horrified by how far things had escalated. The mayor personally visited the Thompsons to apologize. "We failed you as a city," she admitted. "We're going to make this right." The city organized a unity rally in front of the Thompsons' home, drawing hundreds of residents, local activists, and even national media. Marcus spoke with unwavering confidence, sharing his hope for a future where his children wouldn't have to live in fear. Aisha, with tears in her eyes, thanked everyone who stood by them, emphasizing that love and resilience would always triumph over hate. But the most dramatic twist came weeks later, during the court trial for the three attackers. Greg, the ringleader, pleaded guilty but made a shocking revelation. He had been egged on by an anonymous online group that had targeted the Thompsons ever since they moved in. Investigators traced the group's origins back to none other than Robin, the same man who had followed them from the park during their first encounter. He had been silently orchestrating a campaign of harassment after that incident, encouraging others to act on the hate he harbored. Robin was arrested, and his trial became a turning point in the community. The Thompsons' courage in standing up to such blatant racism inspired others to confront prejudice in their own lives. The Unity Rally became an annual event, a reminder of the strength found in diversity and community. For the Thompsons, they decided to stay. Marcus and Aisha worked with local leaders to create educational programs on tolerance and inclusion. Olivia's video of the vandalism from their CCTV had gained millions of views, leading her to become an outspoken advocate for racial justice. Jaden, inspired by his father's bravery, began drawing pictures of their family standing tall against a dark figure. The once divided neighborhood transformed into a symbol of unity. The Thompsons' front yard, where a hateful act had occurred, was now home to a beautiful garden filled with flowers planted by neighbors. At its center stood a plaque that read, "Love grows here." The Thompsons didn't just survive, they thrived, proving that no amount of hate could uproot a family grounded in love and resilience. The three masked men were sentenced to 2 years in prison each for harassment, incitement to violence, property trespassing, attempted arson, and vandalism, while Robin was sentenced to 4 years in prison for masterminding the whole thing as well as originator of the online hate group. Love should always lead us and not hate. The color of one's skin does not define who they are. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to Home of Stories TV. And do not forget to turn on the notification bell for more inspiring stories. Drop your comments below, let us know your thoughts.